Hello everyone and welcome to episode 13 of the Warhoundcast. We're doing something a little bit different today. We're having a chat about the custom Blood Bowl 2 online league that I'm in. And to that effort I've brought in two new guests. So we have Andy.
Hello.
And Thomas.
Hello.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a preview of the teams that everyone has picked. And then we're going to do a little predictions at the end so that in 18 or so weeks' time, people can look back and laugh at how wrong we were.
Indubitably. And it's going to be an interesting one, but yeah. Be so wrong.
So, yeah, especially as when we look at the panel, Thomas is new, so doesn't know any of the previous players.
Nope.
I have no idea how good Thomas is because I haven't played him or seen him play ever.
Yeah, absolute professional. Almost 20 hours on this game now, so
that's
feeling myself.
And yeah, we've done two previous seasons. We had a 5-man season. We had an 5-man season technically, I guess, an 8-person season in the second one, and we're up to 10 this time. So it's getting longer each time. So we'll have a bit of context for how people did previously. But with that in mind, we'll go with just the order of teams as they appear on the sheet. We'll start off with my team, which is not an egotistical pick; it just happens to be first. But speaking of ego, past 2 seasons, I've won! Hurrah! I just finished top of the league in season 1, narrowly beating out Andy on the first place thing by touchdown, and then we had a best of 3 final, which for Andy's sake we won't go over.
It did not end well.
Season 2, I was Chaos Dwarfs, and they basically slowly ground out their way to a win in most of the games. And I
unfortunately had to sit that one out.
Yeah, we didn't want Andy involved anymore. He had a pretty embarrassing start.
Oh.
But season 3, I've gone for a slightly silly team, so I've gone for Underworld Denizens. I've got a Troll, 2 Skaven Blitzers, 2 Skaven Throwers, 2 Skaven Linemen, and 5 Goblins. And I also start with Apothecary and 3 rerolls. So, what are your thoughts on this?
We were discussing earlier how it's a strange team, and I am concerned that you are just going to just lose so many goblins and Skaveners are going to die, and it's going to be glorious.
I expect that.
But,
these guys are not going to win a straight up fight against anyone in the league. They might injure more Wood Elves than they get injured. Might. But other than that, most teams are bashier. Most teams are faster, or at least comparable speed. And I think every team apart from Lachlan's Goblins are higher armored as well. What these guys do is cheat.
Yes.
They have lots of access to mutation, so they are really customizable, which looks fun.
Mutations are so much fun. I
love the tentacly troll.
Yes.
Love it.
But there are 4 quite bashy teams in this lineup, so I am kind of worried that you're not going to get a chance to get many mutations and everyone on your team will just be dead, but that's the way you go with this stunty, I guess.
Yeah. I'm spoiler alert, this was meant to be a preview thing, but there have been a couple of games played. So I played Lachlan's Goblin team. I thought this is going to be quite interesting because, both stunty teams, both got a chance of injuring each other. It turned out he injured me and I didn't injure him. As a general rule.
As Blood Bowl tends to.
Yeah. There were a couple of things, quite a few turns where I started off with 2 players that I could activate. Which
-1 armor on your Skaven Blitz is pretty big.
Yeah,
it's not very nice.
I think it was first turn, or might have been second turn. Lachlan's chainsaw wielding maniac, he's loony, comes up and hits him, instantly removes him from the pitch, and rolls the -1 armor. I thought I really don't want that on one of my players. has a chance of leveling up over time.
Mhm.
Used my apothecary and was like, you can have -1 strength instead. And I'm like, I'll stick with the armor penalty, I guess.
Yeah. Apothecaries, you buy them and they're still useless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I need to save my valuable players, and it never seems to work out.
No,
It's just-
I do really like playing undead teams with the necromancer just built in.
Yes, the
And they're
free like regenerations and everything.
Oh yeah, and they will have regen anyway, so just go. I am back up.
Yeah.
So-
So is that a different team? But yeah.
So moving on.
Ugh.
Speaking of, we have the other stunty team in the league, or the other full stunty team in the league.
Yes.
We have Lachlan's team. So Lachlan finished 4th in season 1 out of 5. Had a really good start, but fell away with Kemry. Season 2, Lachlan again had the opposite. He had a pretty poor first half of the season with Norse. Had an amazing second half of the season. Did really well. Narrowly missed out on 2nd place just on touchdown difference. So ended up in what was a top 4 playoff there. Sadly for him, lost to Matt in the playoffs. So finished 3rd in the league and I guess 3rd equal in the 4th in the playoffs overall.
And he's gone for double trolls, I see.
Yeah, so 2 trolls, 9 goblins, a loony, a fanatic, and a pogoer. So loony is the chainsaw one, fanatic is the one with the ball and chain, pogo is the one with the pogo stick.
I mean, I've never been a fan of pogo just because I don't understand Blood Bowl enough to actually use it in any way that's useful. But the fanatic and loony are just amazing, and they're just so much fun.
Yeah, I think this is really interesting because there's a lot of teams that you could argue are the most bashy. This team is not the most bashy from 1 to 11, or 1 to 15, or whatever they start off with, but their front line can be strength 5, strength 5, strength 7 on the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
Strength 7?
Yeah, the fanatic is strength 7. He has
Oh
a secret
my
weapon,
God.
so it might go off the pitch very quickly.
He's got money. He can buy bribes.
Yeah, that is Lachlan's plan completely. Buy lots of bribes.
Lots of bribes,
cheat.
lots of chainsaws. That's how you do goblins, right? Just make everyone else in the league hate you as you murder all the fancy people with your chainsaw.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me did want to go goblins, but I saw there was already a goblin team. I was like, you know what? I'll let someone else just murder everyone. It'll be a good time. But
God.
I do. They do also, they give it, but they take it a lot as well. Already got he got an injury.
No, he's injured me. He hasn't.
Yes, I see.
I didn't do a lasting injury on him.
Is that 3 injuries he got with that one guy?
Yes, the chainsaw person doesn't actually get any XP for his injuries. It's the same as founding.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he doesn't really need to because he's got a giant chainsaw and murders everything to death.
Giving
Giving him sidestep isn't going to be especially relevant to him.
Probably not.
But I think what we said about my team applies even more so here. They're also not strong or powerful. Well, they are a little bit powerful. They're powerful for a very short amount of time.
Yes.
And they cheat even more so than Underworld do.
Yes. The only thing I'm concerned with Lachlan's team is I'm pretty sure he's going to 100% want to just kill everybody the whole time, and I think he's going to struggle to score some touchdowns, if you ask me. But he's already got one so far, so maybe I could be wrong.
I think there are going to be. Yeah, this is probably going to be the worst team to play against.
Oh, I mean, I've always enjoyed playing against goblins. It may be painful and if any of my blitzers get injured, I'm going to be very sad. But at the end of the day, if someone dies to a chainsaw, they die to a chainsaw. It's just a bit of banter, isn't it? That's Blood Bowl for you.
It is, and this is Blood Bowl on sort of turned up to 11. This team.
Yeah, I do enjoy the stupidity of it.
Next up, we have Matt's team. Matt has gone for Wood Elves.
We've got
Matt had a really interesting journey because he was the newest player in season 1. Finished last. Got pretty obliterated for the first part of the season, had a pretty respectable second half, but was always going to finish last. Season 2, different team. He played Lizardman, had a really, really good season, definitely the most improved. Finished, just made the playoffs, and I do mean literally just. We played it all at the same time, and if something had gone differently in Tom versus James, his game, he could have gone out. But he made the top 4, made the playoffs, won 2 matches in a row with our sort of slightly weird playoff system to make the final, beating Lachlan and David, and then took the final to a very respectable 4-3 loss overall. Losing it losing it 1-0 with 2 draws in there, but certainly most improved player from season 1 to 2, and has got a very high scoring potential team. So I want to run through it.
Wood elves are great. Starting with a tree man, always fun. A couple war dancers. One war dancer, 1 thrower, 1 catcher, and how many linemen is that? 1, 2, 8 linemen. I can count. And I've got to admit he probably wins the best naming scheme for this season.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
It's gone with celebrities, and it is beautiful. With Keanu Reeves is one of my favorites, but I believe those are on loans. I'm not sure how that's working.
So there was a slight mistake in his first team creation. So the on loan players he had to sort of sell effectively.
I see.
But yeah.
What else? I don't know too much about them. I know they pass the ball a lot. I have no idea what skills war dancers actually come with.
They start with block, dodge, and leap, which are basically the best 3 skills in the game.
That's disgusting.
When I was first playing this game, not too long ago, literally they just run past me, chuck a ball, and be like, oh, there's a goal, done.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. Okay.
A lot of 1-turn touchdown potential, lots and lots of scoring. He's only played 1 game. He's already got a decent amount of XP on him already.
Yeah, especially Sheriff Woody.
Already got a lineman with kick, always useful.
Yeah,
very, very, very nice to start with, and a decent amount of XP on a lot of his members. We've got a total of 6, 7, 8. 15 XP from 1 game. So pretty good going on that way. I don't know too much about what else. I know that elves are all Agility 4, I assume. So lots of dodging, lots of rage-inducing elves. So
this is going to be the team that probably scores the most touchdowns over the season. And I think the biggest challenge for Matt is going to be keeping his players from being injured. It is a long season. It'll be 18 games plus playoffs. And certainly I remember when I played elves in season 1, a lot of the times where I had sort of dips in form were when a key player or 2 was out injured.
Yes.
I think the game after Matt plays, especially Lachlan's Goblins, will be really interesting because Lachlan's going to try and foul the F out of them.
Yes. I think it'll be interesting. I haven't seen Matt play in a long time, and like I said, you said he was most improved from last season, so I'm pretty hopeful for him. I think if he figures out how to, breaking the tackle zones, dodging out of the tackle zones, not giving free blocks on any of his players, and I think he can go pretty far. I reckon he's got a good chance of winning this season.
Yeah, we're at the end of this. We're going to have a prediction for where we think everyone's going to fix, and without spoiling anything, Matt finishes it's going to be very hard. My guesses. So next up we have Tom, who is different from the we have Tom, not Thomas. And just to make things more confusing, we have 1 duplicate team, and that is that Tom and Thomas are both playing Lizardman. So this is Tom's Lizardman, who is not the one on this podcast.
Yes. Oh, Lizardman. Where do I start with Lizardman? Lizardman are...
I think actually, though, both Toms have gone for the exact same starting lineup in the end.
What, Coxscore?
Yeah.
What? 2?
Coxscore, 6 Saurus and 4 Skinks, yeah.
With 2 rerolls.
Same hour with 2 rerolls, yeah.
And Apothecary as well.
I haven't got that yet. Yeah.
Oh,
This is after his game.
I see. He's already invested his gold early into the apothecary. I like.
So we might as well talk about both at the same time because this is
the
a
same team.
huge amount of strength, a huge amount of speed. Yeah, Lizardmen are great, aren't they?
Great. I love Lizardmen. Like they are my most played in like single player. They're just so solid. The strength for so much strength for you can just walk over so many teams by just if they give you 3 blocks, you can just run your swords or just run over everyone, get the ball out, get to a skink and score touchdowns like that, just super quick.
I think the only downside is they don't start with too many great abilities. Like you need to get them block.
Yes,
you need all the Saurus to
not
get block.
start with block, but having strength 4 is still such an advantage that you can get block relatively early on your Saurus. They obviously never touch the ball, but they're not slow Saurus. They're still pretty
movement
fast.
6,
still,
yeah, movement 6 is good for strength 4.
Yeah, very very strong teams. I have had problems in the past. Not getting just picking up the ball can be a little unreliable with skinks, but generally you can get if you can get an agility upgrade or anything.
Short hands,
catching,
short
anything
hands
like that.
So essential.
And any of those skills, and I find lizards are just almost unstoppable. Very scary.
Yes, just for reference, this is Thomas's first season. In fact, he hasn't even met most of the people in the league yet.
Yeah. I've met no one basically except Andy. But you don't count Andy.
Yeah, Andy doesn't count for anything. But Tom was one of our new players last season. He was the most successful new player. He had a very sort of slow, grindy, bashy orc team. Was achingly close to making the playoffs. Needed a thrown. He was a thrown goblin away from making the playoffs. And he was widely considered to have the bashiest team last season. He hasn't gone far away from that this season.
Cool. You know.
Yeah, but he's got a lot more speed this season.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Again, yeah. So
both teams to watch. It's going to be really interesting seeing that head to head.
That would be interesting. I'm curious to see who comes out. On top. I know.
Which is at round 6.
Yeah, round 6. Oh, I might have to ask for see if we can spectate that one.
Yeah.
I'll just go for his skinks and just leave everything else.
Just murder each other's skinks. That'd be really useful for all of us. So
we just have a truce. We just speak. Just don't touch the skinks. You can do everything else.
It's always a really interesting thing after a game because there are some teams that just have a natural advantage over others. So last season I was playing Chaos Dwarfs. Kate was playing Amazons. Amazon's thing is just dodging everywhere. Half my players have tackle. I basically completely neuter Kate's team, and it ends up being a horrible matchup.
Yeah.
Seeing the Lizardman v Lizardman having that complete mirror match where no one can say your team is better than mine by default, it's going to be really interesting. It's the only mirror match we've got, although we've got a sort of high elf, wood elf, which is similar.
Be fine. Someone will luckily roll strength 5 on all their Sauruses. That'll be fine.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, you never know.
Let's hope not.
Praise Nuffle and get some good XP and roll double 6s. There you go.
So next up we have Kate. Kate was well, depending on whether you count Andy's forfeit or not, was either last or second last in the thing last season. Had a pretty respectable season. Was a new player who was playing Amazons, which aren't the easiest team to learn, especially when there's a dwarf player in the league. But this season has a very nasty looking undead team right off the bat. So 2 mummies. This is after the first game. So 2 mummies, 2 whites, 3 ghouls, 4 or 5 skeletons, and a zombie. I don't think this is quite the bashiest teams. There's a lot of contenders for that, but it's certainly got a lot of muscle and it's got a nice amount of speed as well. So it's a really nice, well balanced team.
White's pretty nice. Mummy's pretty scary, but like
yeah,
again,
scary indeed.
can just Mummy's always very, very slow up front line, but the ghouls very nice to just run down the field.
That you just have to be careful of them, but you got so much like fodder, cheap fodder that you don't care about. You just stick out in front so no one can touch your ghouls.
Yeah, and you've got regeneration on a lot of them except the ghouls. Got necromancers. It should be. I reckon they're probably gonna survive the league. One of the best. I think. I think they will definitely come into their own a lot later in the league when it comes injuries start like adding up.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of leftover gold as well.
Definitely going to help. Just because, yeah,
I don't have to buy new players.
It should be quite nice. I have noticed you've already gone for some assistants, coaches, cheerleaders, and fan factor.
Yeah,
which is an interesting move. I don't know if I would do the same, but like they are definitely useful upgrades to have.
I think
reroll is just better every time.
One of the nice things about starting with undead is that you can actually afford everything you want to in your starting lineup. So you can get the mummies, you can get the whites, you can get the ghouls, and you can start off with 3 rerolls. So you don't really need to save up for anything, especially as you can't buy an apothecary. So
yeah, and you don't
spending them on some more frivolous upgrades, shall we say?
Which is quite nice. But if you don't really, don't need to save money for that much stuff. So
could someone explain to me how cheerleader fan factor assistant coaches works? Is it like yours is higher, so you beat me? Or
so they affect the kickoff table, and there are certain results where it is where there's a hidden roll if you're doing it on Blood Bowl 2, like we are, where it is like D6 plus fan factor. So in those situations, Kate will have +2, +3, whatever it is. Or it might be if you've just got a higher one. I forget the exact maths. I think it's the higher one. So I think Kate will get +1 to do those rolls.
Oh, it's just +1. It's not like mine is higher, so I get it.
I think it's if I've got more than you, I get +1 to the roll.
Okay, cool.
So next up we have Andy's Bretonian team.
Hey, so yeah, I've gone for 3 blitzers, very, very expensive. 3 blitzers, 3 blockers, and 5 linemen. So yeah, blitzers super nice with Bretonia, good armor. They start with block. They start with dauntless, also super useful. So I can do all right against some of the bigger punchier teams. I feel like I've never played Bretonia before, so it's going to be an interesting one. But I feel I'll bring some like kind of humans into the league and just play around with more skills that I haven't kind of done before.
Would you mind pronouncing your second to last blocker's name?
It is the second to last one.
Oh, well, yeah, that's named.
What, Francois or Pierre? Pierre.
Oh, there you go. It's
because
asterisk vomit noises.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, you can't make a Bretonian team and not give them all stupid French names that sound like you're vomiting every time.
Well, Fernsby Dankworth is a reference to.
Fernsby Dankworth is a little reference to the our D&D game. I have played in a very long time, but yeah,
played since COVID, basically.
The very, very fancy. He was like a very fancy, like in first boss kind of person that I may or may not have accidentally immediately killed.
Accidentally is a very, very loose word in the circumstances.
For context, I was playing a intelligence 6 barbarian, and with some backstory, he already didn't like this paladin type. He comes in to offer a challenge or something, just happened to roll really well on damage, and he just died in one shot. So that's what that was a reference to, just fancy boy. Hopefully it's not for foreshadowing of what will happen. We'll see.
Yeah, if when you play Ross, who is the DM in that, if he kills Fernsby Dankworth right at the start, then
I mean that's just I mean
Fate.
That's how it happens.
You throw on yourself, you know.
But yeah, Andy finished second in season 1. Actually had the most wins in the league stage, but finished with the same amount of points and slightly lower touchdown difference than
was,
Mead.
Yeah,
And I think what you had then was you were playing a Chaos team, and you had a team that was bashy enough to beat up everyone, and the ones you couldn't bash up, you had your very skilled up Beastman who was able to get the ball and run with it a bit more.
I had a single Beastman that was like, I think by the end of it, level 4 or 5. I think level 4. It was just, he just scored so much. Unfortunately, my Chaos Warriors never really didn't actually level up so much until the very end. But just had enough just movement. It was a nice time. I was playing a team that I was more comfortable with. I like playing out mutations and stuff, and being a bashy team is always fun. But like I said, I'm trying something a bit new. My didn't mention it again, but my blitzers start with catch as well, which is really nice. But each of those is 110k, so they're expensive.
They're very expensive, aren't they, for a human profile?
Yeah,
even with some pretty solid skills.
But blockers or having tackle is quite nice. But my linemen are absolute garbage.
But they're cheap at least.
They're fun. I'm fully prepared to just throw them into the chainsaws and nasty stuff, and we'll see. But hopefully getting more into the passing and catching game this time. But still, keeping blocking everything just because I'm not super comfortable. I've never played elf teams. Don't like elf teams. Dodging is annoying. I like to punch things in the face. It's nice and easy. But
I think you've got the most balanced team. Undead may be another thing. You'll beat up all the weak teams, and you've got enough skills to hopefully outmaneuver or pick up some tricks against the bashy teams.
I'm very worried about lizards just because I play lizards. I know they punch a lot, and having only strength 3 is going to be a bit rough against them. But again, Dauntless. So.
Yeah, my strength 2 goblins look at your strength 3 with envy. But so next up we have James. James wins 2 awards for last season, which was the most mediocre new player award and the best trash talker. So James finished 6th overall. Was actually only a point off the playoffs, albeit wasn't in contention in the last round. But he had a couple of very good results on the way, and I remember I pretty much stole a draw off him in our game in round 5 last season. If that hadn't happened, he'd have been right in the playoff contention till the end. And his trash talk has been one of the highlights of the league. So so he's gone for high elves this season compared to undead last season. So he might miss some of those sort of big mummies coming down the middle. And he has got 8 linemen, 1 thrower, 2 blitzers, and 3 rerolls.
Yep. Again, I don't know how he plays. I didn't really play any games with him last season because I had to miss it. So, but elves, so agility 4 across the board. Disgusting passing and dodging.
I feel like I'm just gonna have to take tackle now. Just looking at all these teams, there's just so much dodge.
Well, I think across the 2 elf teams, there's actually only one of them that starts with dodge. Tackle.
Really?
Yeah, so just the war dancer. None of the throwers, blitzers, linemen start off with it.
I thought they all had dodge.
No, they've got agility 4, so they're very good at dodging, but they don't have the skill dodge itself.
Yeah, 2+2.
So tackle tends to be less good against elves compared to something like tentacles. Which we don't have access to, but prehensile tail that
you can get from the crotchy gore.
It's a very, very good one to have.
Key when you've got those elves running around.
So I think this is a very good lineup. I think it's going to be very challenging for James to adjust to playing that sort of game where he's got these 2 really powerful, very reliable for big people pieces to punch holes in, to having this game that's going to be a lot more maneuverable, running around. And there's going to be a game where you start trying to chuck around with your thrower and it just doesn't come off and you feel horrible.
Yeah, sometimes it just. Yeah.
Well,
I've never. I mean, I'm always just going to be angry that the elves exist. They annoy me. The fact that elf teams are in Blood Bowl. It's Blood Bowl. It's not. Let's pass the ball around.
Yeah. Yeah. They're the bowl in the Blood Bowl. Most of the other teams are Blood.
Yeah. Nah. I'm down for more. Just play some Warhammer. Let's just get some. just have a battle. Let's go. When is that going to be a computer game? Yeah.
We need to find some computer games that are about fighting each other. Do any of those exist?
No, not at all.
But yeah, elves. Yeah, I have nothing else to add. But you.
They're just going to be the XP farms. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, probably the highest. The Wood Elf High Elf game, whatever that is, has the potential to be the highest scoring of them all.
Yeah,
each other.
Yeah, that might be a sort of 4-3 game, but
yeah, we'll have to see.
So next up is Ross's Orcs team. Ross, I think, has played a grand total of 1 game of Blood Bowl. So has very much a uphill battle. But he's got a very strong team and he's got a very powerful team. Last season we thought Tom's Orcs were probably the most brutal of all the teams. We've got quite a few contenders for this role. I think we might even be able to have a discussion of that at the end, but Orcs are certainly in the mix for that title. I think this team is going to cause a lot of problems for other teams, but might struggle to win games. It might be a lot of draws. So just to go through the roster, there are 3 Black Orcs, 4 Blitzers, 1 Goblin, 1 Thrower, and 2 Linemen.
Yep.
And 3 rerolls and an Apothecary. So going through that team is going to be pretty nightmarish.
Yeah.
But with them moving the ball is going to be pretty tough for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only 1 Goblin is pretty hard.
Well, the lineman and the thrower are actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
holding the ball. I don't think the blitzers are bad at it either. I think they're
okay.
3s.
Just do it, I think.
Orc blitzers are one of the stars. Black Orcs are Black Orcs. They're really tough to move.
Yep, strength 4, a lot of armor.
Yeah, they're slower Saurus.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they have one of the big advantages Orcs have over lizards is that they start off with some skills. They've got some block, they've got some sure hands. They've technically got dodge on their goblin, and they don't have unless they've got a lot of goblins. They don't have those Saurus those skinks there, which are easy to hit. So bullying an Orc team is very, very tough to do.
Yeah, I'm a fan of not going with the troll. I actually think that's a good move. Because personally, I just don't really like the I think he's one of the worst big guys, and really annoying. It's fun trying to throw a goblin every now and then, but
is he Bonehead or the stupid one?
He's really stupid.
Oh, well, that's such a bad chance that going off.
Yeah, it's so annoying when that happens.
Yeah, Black Orcs. Yeah. Black Orcs and Blitzers are just super solid. Probably. Yeah, I think he'll do all right. Like. A lot of punchy, not pretty straightforward, just kind of cage the ball and run up the field, go for those kind of draws or those long, grindy games. I think he'll do all
right. Next up, we have David. David, I think, wins the award of best player that hasn't made it to the final yet.
I don't know how
it's scaring me.
So, David was 3rd in season 1, missed out by a point on making the playoffs. He was 2nd in the league in season 2, but lost in the playoffs. Firstly to me and then to Matt to knock him out. We had, again, slightly odd playoff system in that season. But I think across the 2 seasons, he's got probably the 2nd best win rate.
You're scaring.
Sorry. And he's playing. I don't think he's playing Khemri this season. I don't think he's played them before, to my knowledge. I might be wrong. But he played Nurgle in season 1 and was very successful with them, and they've got a lot of similarities.
A man after my heart.
So the team is 2 Blitzers, 2 Throwers, 3 Tomb Guardians, and 4 Skeletons.
Mhm.
And again, a lot of contenders for who's the most bashy. This is another absolute contender for that role.
I have no idea what Tomb Guardians are. They're what strength?
They're mummies.
Okay. That's scary. Alright. Yeah, no, I think David, again, strong team. He's played quite a lot, knows what he's doing. A lot of regeneration is definitely going to be super useful in this very long season.
I'm just going to pray for my skinks. That's all.
Yeah, the Tomb Guardians v Skinks is not a